What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. In today's episode, I sit down with Jamel Oliver as we discuss what he needs to do to transition from working for someone else to really running and operating his own residential home service business. What an awesome episode because he is in it. He is in a business right now, working for someone else, seeing how growth works, growth operates, and he's ready to create it for himself. So really cool episode here. Business Breakthrough starts right now.
The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast.
What's going on, everyone? I'm here with Jamel, fellow podcast listener, and he reached out for a business breakthrough. His company is Pro Painting and Renovations. We just briefly discussed kind of your situation, working full time, wanting to transition. What got you to the painting business in the first place?
So when I was younger, in high school, I actually started working for a paint contractor. My best friend, it was my best friend's dad. So
Okay.
that was the only thing that I kind of knew how to do with my hands.
Yeah.
And then I veered off and got into, in college, I actually started doing sales. So I sold quite a bit of things, from Uverse, AT&T stuff, phone sales, basically phone sales and things like that. So I got a lot of sales experience. And then, fast forward, I would say about 2 or 3 years ago, I realized, I wanted to get out of the sales game and started wanting to start working with my hands again. So the only thing that I did know how to do was paint. So
Wow.
yeah, so I
Okay.
jumped out. I just literally out of nowhere, I started my own painting company. It was a
Bold.
different, yeah, it was very, very bold.
How did you get your first customer?
With painting, it
Yeah.
was really, I just painted my house, and then guy walked by, and I got a couple phone calls, and then I started painting another house, and then
Usually
got
how it
another.
works.
Yeah, yeah. So it wasn't producing as much as what I wanted to at the time. I've got a family, so I met up with this guy that owns a roofing company, and he wanted me to do that with his roofing company. So now I run about 5 or 6 crews, interior. We got about 5 or 6 offices, so that's what I do now.
So
So
you're
I've got,
working for a roofing company,
yes, sir.
and you got okay. So at what point in time, like, do you do any painting?
Right now, I don't do painting anymore. I just manage.
Okay, so you're
Uh,
just at a position where you're working somewhere, but you want to get back into the saddle doing your own gig.
Correct, because as I'm listening to your podcast, you're telling these guys, come out, get out of the business, because you have to work on your business, not in your business. And I'm like,
Right.
well, I'm already out of the business, and
Yeah.
I already know how the management aspects of things, so I could almost just transition
What is your
as.
biggest, let me ask you this, because if I can know this, I could really identify how to assist. When you look at making the leap, what scares you the most?
I would say it would have to be, security of that paycheck coming in, consistently and daily.
So you
Um,
go you go from knowing that the money's coming in to having to find the money. And then, that's a different mindset. Usually in retail, you knew that they were coming in the door. Usually in those capacities, that is a big mental shift.
mhm.
The good news is for you is that you don't have to share the revenue with anyone anymore. I would say that in terms of what skill sets you've developed, sales, number one. I mean, that's what's going to make it happen is your ability to convey to an individual that you're a worthy choice. through your words, through your actions, through trust, through all these things that you convey as a good salesperson. Where you're gonna really hit the wall is if you start painting by yourself, and you think that that's what's gonna hurt you. Is if you go into this business trying to just paint your way to success. And I always wish I could go back to the people that come to me and are in that position, which you've heard maybe a couple, if you've listened to a couple episodes, where they're painting and they want to get out. They realized, hey, okay, I can't, this isn't sustainable. They're in your position right now with the pressures of a business and feeling like they want to get out because it's just too overwhelming. So it's almost actually a good thing that you have a job right now, because it's forcing you to be creative in a sense. How can I sell jobs and get work done without me being there all the time? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. And being that I have a sales background, it kind of eases me a little bit from going out there to gain these gigs, because I'm extremely confident that, I could sell it.
You can.
Now, I just don't have, the issue that I'm having now is one of the main issues is the systems that I need to have set in place to make these transitions.
Here's the thing. The system is this. You find somebody that you can trust to paint a job while you're not there. That's the only system that you need right now. Don't overthink this. This is not something you need to overthink. You just need to test the theory. And then once you test the theory, then you perfect it. Then you create the perfect system. That's the secret. Find somebody you can trust to paint the job while you're not physically present. That's going to be the big secret here. Now, yes, if you were in a position where you did not have a full-time job, I would tell you, yeah, I want you on the job. I want you there to nurture that relationship and build that person up, to get to know that person. Maybe you don't have that luxury right now. I'm sure you work Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5. Is that your work schedule? Okay. So you got to first figure out, when are you going to do these estimates? Probably the weekends, right? Maybe after work. Okay. I suggest doing them on the weekends, because trying to do estimates at 5 o'clock, you're significantly hurting your closing ratio, simply because people do not want to talk to anyone after 5 o'clock. They're getting ready for bed, not bed. They're getting ready for their dinner. You get that vibe. Have you done estimates after 5? Have you ever done that?
Actually, now I can actually squeeze my estimates in with the day that I have,
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So if you can make that work, you have that flexibility. Let's talk about the other side of things, because we'll talk about hiring, but how do you plan on finding work other than word of mouth? Because if we rely on word of mouth, that comes when it comes, and we don't have any sort of authority over when that work comes in. Okay. It's kind of like if, you worked at a retail store and you were out west and way off the highway. And if there's traffic on the highway, you have a very slim chance of people driving all the way there to find you, unless there's a billboard there saying, hey, if you just take this exit and go 3 miles west, you're going to hit this retail store. Right now, you don't have any billboards. No one knows who you are. So you're just hoping that the random chance of the few people that know that you actually do this tell someone about it, and hope that they're ready to have that job done. And I've already, so you have such a slim chance of building momentum with your current marketing strategy. That's a fact. So have you thought about what you're going to do to get your name out there to where you can feel confident hiring someone and knowing that they're going to have enough work?
Correct. So let me go back to what you mentioned previously about having somebody else on the job. Now, as I mentioned, I work with quite a bit of quite a bit of subs. So I do have people that can actually go and do the work, that I trust, that can be there, that could do the right work.
Great.
So I do have that. Now, in regards to advertising, that's where I am right now. I'm planning on building a website here soon.
That's the mistake some people make, is that you think that a website is going to do it. A website is almost as worthless as SEO now. It is worthless. I mean, the thing is, think of a website, honestly, as that building I was telling you, 3 miles off west. A website is a retail store online, is it?
Yes.
Right. If you're not driving traffic to that website, ultimately, you don't even need a website. You just need a landing page. You just need something where people can put in their information and you get the information, right? So like, don't think of a website as this thing you have to get that's going to help you, because it's not. Even my website, like I've been in business for 5 years. Yeah. You know what gets me business is the fact that if you type in my town and painter, you're going to see my Google listing. And yes, I have a website. Really, the website just helps me gain trust and authority, because they'll go to my website and they're going to build off of what they already know about me from what they've seen on Google. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So website SEO passive, right? We need
Okay.
an aggressive strategy, which requires money.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So a website's good for branding, great for
Okay.
branding, bad for leads.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Bad for leads.
So basically what you're saying is my ultimate goal right now is to figure out how to get the leads in. And
I'm going to give you a strategy. I think I know what you need to do. Here's what you need. Do you have a logo?
Yes, I do.
Cool. You have a logo. You can get the website. That's fine. But again, that's not going to be something that's going to kick you off. It's just not. Again, it's passive. It's good there to build trust. Obviously, it's something you want, but that's not what we need right now. You need to test data. You need to try. You need to do estimates. You need to build that team up. You need to make mistakes. Like these are all things that you need to do. So when you go through all this while you have the security of your job, you know, obviously when you leave, you've already made the mistakes. You already know how to get jobs. You already know how to sell them. You already know how to produce them, and you have this system in motion. That's the most ideal way to quit a job, I will say.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you're in a good position where you have some freedom throughout the day. I mean, you have an ideal situation right now. You know, you have the luxury of both worlds. Okay. So let's talk about it. Right now, the best thing that you could do is sign up for Angie, which is Home Advisor. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I have.
Absolute best thing you could do right now. Why? Number one is because straight off the bat, you're going to get leads that want the exact job type that you offer. Okay. That's it. You could do Facebook ads. It's a little more passive than aggressive, because think of Facebook ads as somebody coming to your house, knocking on your door while you're watching TV. You're not in the mode of buying, but they could convince you to buy because they show you a presentation, sort of like how if you're scrolling on Facebook and you see a before and after picture and you say, well, I wasn't thinking about painting my house, but that kind of makes me want to get a quote, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So that's like a Facebook strategy. Now, Google, very good. If you want to do Google ads, you certainly can, but pretty general. Someone goes online, looks up painter in your town, looks at all they get shotgunned with information. The top has all these ads, and then they have all these companies, and then, you know, you have all these other things. And it's like, whoa, you know, so you have a little less of a chance to target someone in that way. Okay. But then you have lead generation companies. And I don't know if you've done this, and I highly suggest that you do, is you go on Home Advisor or Angie right now, and you go through it as if you're a customer. Don't submit it, because somebody's going to have to pay for that, but go all the way to the end and see what I mean by this. Because in order for them to get your information, they have to put in a lot of information, which means they're very committed, right? And they want the estimate as soon as possible. They're ready. They've already assumed the budget. And what that's going to do for you is it's going to save you a bunch of time, because you either pay a high amount, which is going to be between $60 and $100 per lead, little high. It's an investment in future growth. So assume that. But the thing about it is if you do that now, you're going to save yourself the time of having to generate that business with your actual time, which you don't have because you're working.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
That absolutely makes sense. So
You know,
basically,
so you've got to be comfortable with spending that money.
okay.
And that's a hard transition to make.
You know what? I am, you know, since I definitely want to do this, I'm definitely okay with spending the money to receive the leads, because I don't have that much time to, like you said, I don't have that much time to be able to do all those things. So Angie's List and
Not Angie's List. Angie's List is different than Angie, even though they're the same company.
Really?
Different type of lead. Well,
Okay.
I would just go straight to Home Advisor / Angie. Like,
Okay.
and it's super confusing because Angie's List is different, but don't sign up for both because they share leads in between one another. Just go right to Angie. Okay.
Got it.
This is not a long-term strategy by any stretch, just so you know. This is a startup strategy, seeing as your situation. And at this point in my business, I will say I'm not even using them anymore. Okay. I used them early on in my business because number one, it gave me people that were ready to buy. Number two, it gave me a lot of leads. I mean, I did get a lot of leads. Number three, it taught me, because I had so many reps, how to sell these jobs and what people were looking for and how to price these jobs. I got so many reps in. And number four, it shotgunned my name all over the place. So let me ask you this. Watch this scenario here. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm preparing you for the thoughts that come in when you start spending a lot of money and you're not converting your leads and you're wondering, if it was worth it, if Tanner was crazy, if he's in collusion with them and I just scammed you. I want you to see it like this. If you sell one job from 10 leads, let's say those 10 leads were $100 each, there's $1,000, but you sold one job out of those 10 leads for $5,000. Okay. You paid your sub, you paid the materials, you made $2,000. Okay. But you had to spend $1,000 on leads. Okay. So you've netted $1,000. Okay. Well, those 10 leads at that point in time, one of them converted, but the other 9 didn't convert. They needed time, so on and so forth. But you were smart enough to nurture those leads over time. You sent them follow-ups using a software like Drip Jobs, and then they convert to a lead. Maybe you sell one of those jobs 3 months from now, 5 months from now, and maybe you sell 2 or 3 of them. Okay, well, let's say that doesn't happen, and that one person that you sold the job to has a neighbor. You sold the job to the neighbor. If you didn't get that lead, you would have never sold that job to the neighbor. You see, so what it does is it just speeds up your ability to get in front of people, and you're paying for that. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So the more people, obviously it's the more people I get in front of, the more jobs I'll be able to sell. And not only that, that job I do sell, I could get, the neighbor or somebody else from that particular job. And then
because of that one lead that you bought could turn into that. So if you set a budget of like, let's say $1,000 for the month to you right now, I don't know if that is more than you were thinking or less than you were thinking, but I'm telling you, that's a fair amount for someone just starting, wanting to get as many reps as possible. Here's the big thing. Do not worry about making money in the first 6 months of your business. Do not even care about it. Just make enough to sustain, build your reputation, get reviews, right? Build relationships with these subcontractors. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of the employee model. I think maybe at some point you transition to that as you become full-time. I think you could easily have a team of employees that are proprietary, but if you have a great subcontractor group of people that you trust, use them, but don't worry about making money for the first 6 months of your business. Just worry about getting that reputation up, getting reps in, learning how to price jobs, learning the game, learning how long jobs take, learning how much material you're going to need, and then play the game of keep away. You keep away from the business. The only thing you need to do is project manage, supervise, and customer service and sales.
Got it.
Anytime you pick up a brush, just know that you're hurting your business more than you're helping it.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. So, so basically, just focus on growing my business right now, and obviously generating leads, reviews, focus on sales, things like that.
I want you to picture yourself as a franchise, right? Like if you knew that a franchise was coming into town, right? The first thing that they would do is immediately hire subcontractors. In the painting world, this is what they do. They shotgun a ton of ads looking for all the good subcontractors in town. They spend a bunch of money on marketing. They put out their branding, and then they're just submersed into the system just like that. And then they get leads just like that. And then they start selling jobs in our area. I mean, that's how it works, right? They don't have the owner of the franchise coming in and painting houses to get going. They just pump a bunch of money and resources into the town, and that's how they get going. And this business is so easy to start up that the system I'm giving you, if you do it correct, I mean, it might be less than 6 months before you quit your job. You might say, this is great. You're going to, really be capitalizing. So I think it might be sooner than that.
Yeah. I mean, I live in Florida, so Orlando, so there's a ton of work here. You know what I mean?
Ton of work. You're in Orlando, which means you could paint exterior year round. I'm in Ocala. I'm about an hour and a half away from you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know you're that close.
Yeah, man. So essentially what you could do is paint year round. There's a ton of exterior work there. I mean, honestly, bro, it's just a matter of you spending the money on the marketing. And when I say that, you have to understand this analogy. People are traveling on I-4. Let's use the good example here. Okay. They're traveling on I-4, right? All the people that want a paint job in Orlando right now are traveling on I-4. Okay. Right now, your business is way out in Ocala. All right. No one knows where it's at who lives in Orlando. Okay. But what you want to do is you want to put your business right on the highway, man. And that's what putting yourself on HomeAdvisor will do, is because HomeAdvisor builds the trust with the customer.
right? They build the trust. They have the ads, they have the marketing, and they pitch, hey, you know what? It's painful for you to go search for a contractor on your own. What we do is we will send you a vetted and approved contractor to come do a job for you. Okay. As an average consumer, that's a pretty sweet deal. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why? Because it creates a hedge against the risk of getting a bad contractor. And you know this, there's contractor horror stories all over the
Oh
place.
gosh,
I'm sure you're a
100%.
victim of one as a homeowner. So, you know, it's just one of those things, man. It's like, you know, this is the strategy. Not many people are doing it. A lot of people in our industry think that Home Advisor is a scam, or they just don't understand sales. But I'm
Mhm.
telling you this confidently because I know you understand sales. When you get that lead, you need to call them within seconds,
Oh yeah.
right? Drip Jobs, my software, will follow up with them with the text message and an email within seconds too. And then it drips out communication to them. So for example, if they don't answer the phone, it'll drip out an email the next day and the next day and the next day, encouraging them to book an appointment with you. So part of the
Interesting.
reason why I developed this is because I used lead programs so much that I was losing out on opportunities because I wasn't able to call them. So, you know, I wanted something automated. So that's just one of the things, but a software like that would help you. Um, so there's a lot of different things, man, but I think that getting the paid leads is going to be huge for you.
Okay, cool. So that's where I'll start, man. You definitely give me some concrete evidence in regards to the home advisor and things like that. So I'm gonna do that, and $1,000 I can do that,
What is
because I know
so
I'll get
your
it back.
sales? So tell me about your sales process. You know, do you have any questions about this actual estimating part?
To be quite honest with you, I was actually gonna go ahead and get your course on the sales ordeal.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna go through that. I'm gonna take whatever I can from that, because that's where I am now. Like, although
Are you estimating your roofing jobs, or are you just managing the projects?
no, I do all interior. So we scrape popcorn, we paint ceilings, we paint walls.
Oh,
We do,
I
yeah.
see.
So
I thought you
yeah,
said you were doing roofing.
no, I work for a roofing company, but I'm the interior regional manager of that roofing company.
Wow. Oh, okay.
So we
That
have
makes
like
sense.
five
So you're already
offices.
in the game.
I'm already in the game, man. It's like all I need really is, like, what you just told me, like the home advisor, and then the sales strategy in regards to going to grab those in order when I'm getting in front of the customer, knowing exactly kind of how I'm doing, like the system and the structure of it. And then I'm good to
How
go.
is your business getting their leads? Word of mouth, probably at this point.
Yeah, right now. So basically, sometimes I grab, sometimes homeowners want different things at these houses that I go to. I go meet all of our homeowners that we have interior work. So we do uh, about 8 to 14 jobs per week. So
Wow.
I'm visiting all those homeowners. So sometimes I'll get jobs on the side with those guys, and then I'll get my guys to go over there and do those. So
Wow.
so basically, that's how I get my work right now. And I don't want it to be a conflict of interest. So I'm kind of like, trying to figure out the best strategy for me to kind of kick this off and, shoo them to the side.
Right. Yeah. And here's the strategy: you pay for your own leads. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's going to be key. In terms of one thing I want to help you understand is that your company right now, they do everything, right? I mean, popcorn, everything inside. One thing that I like to preach is like just niche down, man. Just like only pick one thing that you're going to be good at, maybe two early on in your business, because again, that's going to affect how you sell, how you market, how you price, so like now that it's your business, you might not have the luxury of having subcontractors that can do popcorn and wallpaper and all these things. And it's going to cause you problems when it comes to your scheduling. I mean, this company you're working for has so many resources and so many things that they've built up over time. Do not emulate that. Stick to two things: exterior painting and interior painting. If people want popcorn removal, say no, we don't do it. Refer them to somebody or have them find somebody to do it. And I'm telling you this because number one, you don't want to create a situation where the pricing gets skewed. Maybe you over or underestimate, right? Number two, you don't want to stress out your team. Having all these types of jobs to do creates stress. They're going to want more money, and it creates this system of just inefficiency early on. So when you go to Home Advisor, you could pretty much tell them, hey, I just want exterior leads and I want interior leads with the full house. That means people want the whole house painted. Those are the best types of jobs to get because they fill up your schedule, right? So it could be like a
Uh-huh.
5-day job, or the full exterior. Just some things to think about. Because if you're coming from that scenario where you're used to taking everything, I would suggest early on, just narrow down the job types that you do, kind of like create a little menu of what you offer and only offer that. It's going to take the stress off of you big time, because you know this, even though you're working in a company that's established, when you start getting into that popcorn removal, you start getting in that texturing and all that, more problems occur. Would you agree?
Oh my gosh, yeah, tons of
Touch
them.
up, right? Touch ups. Oh, this texture doesn't match. Oh, this popcorn, what's up with this, right? And you're the one who probably answers those questions and tries to find someone to go get it fixed, correct?
Absolutely.
Stressful. Probably the most stressful part of your job is the touch ups and the fixes, right?
Correct. Now, my whole big thing in regards to this particular job is the prep work. You know, I try to
And the
eliminate,
prep work.
yes, I try to eliminate all that stuff on the end. I make sure that these guys are prepping properly,
Yeah,
spending plenty of time on prep work so that we do have less room for error.
right.
So,
Yeah, man, you got it. You're there. I mean, you're ready. I think you're ready. It's just a matter of getting leads, getting practice selling. You got the logo. Now, do you have a business bank account? Do you have a business phone number? Do you have all these things ready?
yeah, I have all that stuff ready.
Beautiful. What
Now,
else?
I'm going to
You
go
have,
back
okay.
to, let me go back to what you were saying about kind of, I would say kind of niching my business, because right now
Yeah.
it's called Pro Painting and Renovations. So now, since I'm still in the early stages, I should probably change my name and get rid of that renovations
I would
aspect of it and just stick to pretty
stick
much
with painting.
painting.
Yeah,
You
just
know what
stick
I
with
mean?
painting. Yeah,
Because
100%.
exterior painting, you already know
Oh, so
exterior.
many. Stucco is insane, dude. I
It's
mean,
crazy.
it'll never end. It's right now, there's stucco all over your town that needs to be repainted. It's just a matter of them knowing it and budgeting for it and getting ready to paint it. Um, so I think you should. I think that, like, you don't need to do renovations.
Got
You're
it.
going to be happy with a business that just does painting. It's enough for you. You could
Mhm.
just scale that up as high as you want and just do painting. Really, what the market craves is someone like you, trustworthy, diligent, coming across with, hey, we're going to make sure we prep this the right way. This is what the market will pay for. And you're in Orlando, dude. I mean, you have customers that you could serve that have unlimited budgets.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have the luxury of that here. Typically, I'm working with retirees who have a certain amount in their bank account, and that doesn't fluctuate much, and they got to make it last. So we've
I hear
kind of
you.
have to be budget friendly in some cases. But you really have an opportunity to work with the working class who appreciate great communication. They
Mhm.
appreciate, trust to where they're working and you can come work on their home while they're not there. Like, those are
Mhm.
some things that you're going to be able to exude to your customers that are going to want them to hire you. And you know this because you're doing it, and it's just a matter of it being proprietary to you and your business and your brand. So, I
Absolutely.
mean, honestly, bro, yeah, change the name. That's a good move early on. Just cut off that renovations part. Do you
Mhm.
have a Google My Business listing yet?
I do not.
Okay, you can easily do that. So just go ahead to business.google.com, and it'll let you just create a business listing. I would get that up as soon as possible.
Okay.
Because that's what people are going to search for. If I look up Orlando painting contractor, you're nowhere to be found. We want you to be able to be found there.
Got it. Okay, great.
Yeah. Any other outstanding questions, man? I'm happy to help.
I do, yeah, I do have a question about, now I'm looking at it because now I deal with a lot of subs currently,
Okay.
and I don't know if it would be advantageous or if I even need to get like a GC to be able to hire these subcontractors, or how would that even work, or how does that look? Can I do that basically?
Yeah. So essentially you're the GC. I mean, you
Mm.
could. You really have to set the direction and set the sails of how you want the business to go. With subcontractors, sometimes you run into issues, in terms of them not representing your brand the way you want them to represent your brand. You have some
Mhm.
leverage here. You are working with subcontractors now. I don't know what that looks like in terms of the conflict of interest, but I know
Mhm.
that subcontractors can work for whoever they want.
Mhm.
So again, you have that. I would not let that be a long-term strategy. The cool thing about working in Florida is that you have the ability to work year round. Typically, companies up north will use subcontractors, so they don't have the stress and the liability of keeping people busy throughout the year because they
Yeah.
can't paint in the winter. So it just
Mhm.
creates so much stress on, like, having, if you have employees, it's a lot harder to keep them busy throughout the year. So I would really suggest that you look at the employee model once as you grow, find somebody who you consider a project manager, and just build a team, because right now I have 10 employees. So for me, like, I know what that looks like, and I know their schedules. I can schedule them when I want. They show up when I want them to show up. They represent premium painting. There's a certain level of customer service that comes along with that. We just went out to like a family team dinner. They brought their family members, and that type of culture to me is what it's all about, man.
Absolutely.
Like that to me, it's like at some point you stop caring about the money. At some point, it's kind of cold, that subcontractor relationship. It's like they know they're coming to make their money and they want to leave.
Yeah.
With the employees, they might stay a little extra to fix a light or to do something for the customer that gets them excited to leave us a review about that experience, as opposed to the subcontractor saying, yeah, you're going to have to get with Jamel on that. I don't know how to fix that, so
Absolutely.
there's a little bit of a difference there. So what you're building right now, it could be a long-term move. I mean, you also have to understand that there's many companies that are extremely successful that have subcontractors. I would say that your company that you're working for right now, all their employees, all their workers are subcontractors, right?
Yeah. I've got one in-house crew.
Okay.
And then I work with like 4 or 5 subcontractors.
Do you see the difference between the in-house crew and the subs? Can you see that? What would you say the difference is?
Well, first of all, the difference is when I send out my in-house crew, and there's like exactly what you said. If there's a little bit of extra work, they don't mind doing it because they're getting paid by the day and they're getting paid hourly. Now the subs, although I hire a specific type of person though. They have to have a specific type of personality for me to even hire them as a sub.
Sure.
So I've got all the guys. I tell them normally. I say, hey, if my homeowner's happy, I'm happy. That's kind of how I say it. So if you need to do extra work, you do extra work because that's going to continue to keep you on board with us, and I'll continue to provide you jobs.
Right.
That's kind of how I treat them. But yeah, there is a big difference.
So the thing about subs is that they're motivated by money.
Yep.
That's it, because they are their own business, quote unquote, right? They're motivated by money, and that's okay. People come to work for money, but what I've learned with the employee model is that they care about a couple other things. They care about atmosphere. They care about motivation. They care about wins. They care about just culture, like the things they actually care about that. There's been people that work for me that have been offered more money, but they stayed because they love the culture. They love the fact that they work for me. I'm not that bad to work for. I'm easy to work for. I let them manage themselves. I don't micromanage. I treat them with respect. I ask about their family. I'm interested in their endeavors. And that to me, I mean, again, I from this side of things, the sub model works for some people, but for me, I would definitely think for you, and you already have experience hiring people. So, I mean, you're already going to know, hey, first find a project manager, find someone that knows all aspects of painting. That's number one. Hire them as an employee, give them an hourly rate, go from there, and then hire somebody with medium experience that doesn't quite know all the aspects of painting, but can work alongside that person. Now you have a team of 2. And then hire a college kid. Now you have your team of 3 at a labor margin of about 30% versus what it would be with a subcontractor margin of about 50%.
That makes sense. And also, I do plan on that. That's one of my long-term goals is to, and it may not even be long-term, kind of like you're saying, I would like to get at least 1 to 2 people on board as soon as I can. Now, although I have experience with hiring, I don't know how to find the right candidate. Like how do I find people basically out in this market, good people,
All right. So I honestly relate hiring to actually finding work. Like, in other words, like, what do we do when we find work? I just gave you a strategy. We have to advertise in the right medium, right? We have to advertise where people are looking for our services. That's why I went with, again, it's not Home Advisor I like. I don't care about them. I just know that the customers like them. People actually trust them. So we want to be where they go, right? How I feel about Home Advisors independent of what the market looks at Home Advisor as. So that's why I go there. So when I look at it like that, I say, okay, well, first I want to make sure that my company is where the customer will be. That's number one. Okay. When we try to advocate our services to anyone that inquires through HomeAdvisor, we want to do what? Build trust and help them understand why we are a better solution than anyone else. Okay. That's how we attract really good customers who value that sort of thing. Now let's take it to hiring. Same deal. What do we want to do? We want to position our company where people who are looking for jobs are looking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to look for a job right now as an employee, as you sit, what would be the first place you would go?
Probably like Indeed or something
There
like
you
that.
go.
Or
That's it. Easy. So you would go to Indeed. Now here's the thing. Okay. You're not going to go and apply for a job that says this. Big roofing company in Orlando looking for a project manager, must have a valid driver's license, paid every Friday, must submit background check. Does that appeal to you?
seems a little vague.
A little vague, a little basic. Does that seem like an
You see that too.
upgrade? Does that seem like an upgrade from where you're sitting right now?
Oh heck no. Not at all.
Nobody wants to downgrade, by the way. Just so you know, humans are way too motivated in any capacity. Everybody wants to go from a step below to a step up in whatever stage they are. So let me ask you this. If the ad said something like this, looking for a highly motivated project manager that has experience in all capacities of home renovation, top pay, salary starting at this amount, bonus structure included, full benefits. Okay. Now you see where I'm going with this. This is a team culture that values respect, honesty, trust, and loyalty. This is what the ad is saying. All I did was change the copy. Now, now you're motivated, aren't you? You would apply for that job because that aligns with your values and your standards, correct?
Absolutely.
If you didn't have those values and standards, would you apply for that?
Not at all.
Why? Because people don't want to feel rejected. So you have to use the ad copy as a way to filter out individuals that don't align with what you're looking for. Okay, that's what it comes down to. So when you ask me a question, well, how do I find people that are what I'm looking for? Well, you got to do a really good job of explaining exactly what you're looking for.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That
So for
makes
you,
sense.
this is how your ad should go. Brand new painting company that's highly motivated for growth, looking for a project manager to run our production division, must have full proficiency in all aspects of interior and exterior painting. You know, you could offer a salary if you want, top pay, looking for somebody with a great attitude, great communication, who's eager to learn how to run and operate a fast-paced business for a clientele expecting excellence. Okay. If I'm a project manager who understands all aspects of painting, but I don't want to, maybe I'm not a people person and I don't think that I'm going to keep up with the standard that you're asking me for, I'm not applying. But if I'm somebody who's working for a painting company that maybe knows that I'm a leader and I had a bad day and I'm ready to look for a job, I'm going to apply. But the issue is with most people is that they don't have an ad up at the time that that person wants to apply. So
That makes sense.
at the same time, I honestly think early on, right now, you should sign up for Indeed and you should put out an ad just
Okay.
now, just to see what you get the reps in.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Got it. And then
So at the same time, you're putting money into marketing and you're putting money into production. Now here's how you play the game. The game would be like this. HomeAdvisor gives you 5 leads. You sell 1 job, right? Now you might push that job out 3 weeks to give you time to hire the project manager.
oh, that makes sense.
So you tell the project manager, hey, you're going to start in 3 weeks. So you're lining up that job. So he at least has a job for a week.
Oh,
see?
and then I line up them after that.
Then you
like,
line another one
I
up
keep
and another
lining
one
them
up. And you're never going to stop chasing that. I'm still in that cycle right now. I just have a bunch of jobs lined up. But hey, if I stop, my guys don't have work.
That's true.
There's never a time where you just stop doing that. It's about kicking it off and getting it started. That's the hardest part. So if you time it correctly, you don't need any jobs to hire somebody. You just need to know that you will have a job. So that's what I'm saying. If you kick them both off, you could easily get that thing in motion.
Got it. So with speaking of HomeAdvisor, so can you turn on and off the leads whenever
Yeah.
you want to, or
Yeah.
so it's okay. So
Yes,
if
you
I've
can
got
pause the leads. Yeah. So if you don't need the leads, you can pause them. I would hit your budget first, always. Like, always go through your budget and then look back, right? You got to be, when it comes to business, you have to have that discipline. You have to look at the numbers. Like, you can't just assume that you didn't make money. Like, and I can speak from experience. I've spent over 90 grand with them. Okay. So I know Home Advisor better than a lot of people. There's people that spend more than me, but I know the game. I know well enough to know that there's some times where I'll get 5 leads in a row and they all suck. And it's not that they're not real people. It's just, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I'm not ready yet, but I'm a salesperson. So, oh, that's okay. I know you're not ready, but what we'll do is we'll give you a budget. Does tomorrow work good for you? I'm actually going to be in your area. So I'm converting that person who wasn't quite ready to now be ready. And then when I get to that house, I'm selling.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's like
ABS.
a lead is just a human. Like, it's just a human with intent, right? You got to turn that intent to action. That's a salesperson. That's what salespeople do. They turn intent to action.
And then you nurture that lead, exactly what you're saying. Like, even though they're bad leads, you know, it could lead you into, you know, other work with them or their friend contacting you, you know.
Absolutely. So early on in your business, if you want to do this, you've got to spark it up. And you do that by injecting money, right? That's how you do it. It's either you do it that way, or you're going to have to go knock doors and you're going to have to trade your time to do what Home Advisor can do for you with your money. Okay. Somebody's going to be paying here. You're going to be either paying with your time or your money. And right now you don't have the luxury of time. So pay with your money.
Got it. Yeah. Originally, that's how I started. I started door knocking with my original company.
But you didn't have a job.
Flyers. Yeah. I can't do that now.
Can't do that now. And it works, but it's slow. And it's not targeted, right? You're hoping that you get someone thinking about painting their house, but the problem is they didn't budget for it. So you're usually shocking them with the price. And then you're winding up selling it for way less because they weren't ready. They're not really that motivated. And then you're coming with a price that they did not plan for. Right. So we want people that budgeted. We want people that are motivated. So all we got to do is show up and do what we're best at, build trust, build value, sell the job.
That makes complete sense. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, you know, I think we hit it today. Was that good? Did I help?
Yeah, man, you helped out tremendously. And I'm going to put these things, definitely some actionable steps that I need to put in place, you know, from the advertising.
So I have a hiring course. I'm going to send that to you for free. You could take it. It's 4 lessons. It'll help you get the Indeed ad up pretty quick.
Okay.
So that'll help you out, man.
And yeah, man, I definitely appreciate that. 100%.
Because I'm a big fan of the employee model. I think that's really good. You know, culture is so important, creating opportunity for families. You know, there's a lot of people that can't become subcontractors or independent contractors. You know, there's a lot of good people out there that are great employees. They want to work for a great business owner. You know, imagine this, you have 3 crews, all employees. You're doing a 1.2 million a year. You have a family dinner with all of their family members. You know, you walk in, man, you just know that people are so grateful for what you've accomplished through your ability to sell. That's nice, you know.
And that sounds fantastic.
You don't get that with subs.
That sounds like that sounds like my end game goal right there is what you're talking about right now.
Absolutely, man. Shaking hands and you hear family members coming up to you say thank you. You know, I mean, you know, and I'm telling you this because I experienced exactly what I just told you, and that is what, you know. There's a sense of so much satisfaction and pride in putting that together, because I hired every one of those individuals. I nurtured them to be where they are in my business. I gave them the roles that they have. I gave them the responsibilities that they have. And they were never managers before. I made them managers. I gave them that feeling that they could come home to their family and say, I got a promotion, you know, and that's something like that, man. That's what it's about. You know, Absolutely. That's what leadership is about. So I hope that for you, if you ever want to jump on again at a different stage, hit me up, man. It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate your time today as well. Okay, Tanner?
Yeah, man. All right. Well, we'll talk soon. I'll get that sent over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Drip Jobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Drip Jobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals. It's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Drip Jobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved, and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time. It's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Drip Jobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com, and we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Drip Jobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.